When I was a young student,
Right.
most countries in the world had 6 children per woman. And the death rate was like 2 was dying, 4 were surviving. Populations were doubling in 1 generation. It was completely unsustainable. Ehrlich called it the population bomb, which I dislike, because it's equalizing children with bombs, pregnant women with terrorists. Completely dislike that. Thou shalt not use the term population explosion or population bomb. It's derogative. People love their children. And you shouldn't call them terrorists because they are pregnant. But what happened was that technology became available, attitude changed. Bangladesh at independence 72 had 6 children per woman. Today they have 2.5 to 2.4. And the child mortality has fallen. Today there are few countries that has many children per woman, mainly in Africa, south of the Sahara, the poor countries. Not South Africa. South Africa has decreased. And Vietnam has 2 children. Iran has 2 children, even less than 2 children. Mexico 2 children, Brazil 2 children. This means that the population issue has been largely solved. The only important thing is to get the minimum of service for the last billion. You know, mosquito nets for malaria, vaccination for the children, family planning access for the women, and then we will all get 2-child families. There will be an additional increase of 2 billion people. It's just adding 1/3 more with people, and then we are done, 2050. This is a minor problem for the environment. The major problem is that 4 billion people live miserable lives. They sleep on the floor. They don't have tapped water. They can't take a shower. They don't have electric light. To increase their standard of living up to what is decent, like Sweden 1950, when we had washing machines and showers, you know, and relatively good houses. That would mean almost increasing their living standard with 5 to 10 times for 2/3 of the world population. That's a 10-fold bigger challenge than the number of people. So I can't understand why people still are carried away by the numbers. They must have some problem with mathematics. Then people say that, oh, they cannot increase their standards. How do you expect a young couple in India or a young couple in Africa sitting on a mud floor with rats, cockroach and flies, you know, having to carry water in a bucket, that they would be satisfied with this and say our children can live as we are doing? They are fighting hard, they will work hard, they do everything to get a decent life for their children, as my ancestors have done, you know, as your ancestors have done in Germany. Everyone will do the same. Those living conditions existed in Sweden just some 150 years ago, and they will fight for them. And I'm not talking about charter tourism. I'm not talking about owning a car. I'm not talking about having air condition. I'm talking about decent life. Not the minimal basic, but a decent life. Perhaps go to the cinema once in a while. Perhaps owning a music instrument. You know. Perhaps owning a football. You know. Perhaps dreaming of being a Beckenbauer. Something like that, you know. And that will increase standard of living. To do that, we need to have new technology. We can't do that with existing coal technology. And that is a big challenge. And we don't have to change the technology with 30% or something like that. We have to make a huge leap. But we are not investing in that seriously. The OECD countries are putting 3 to 4 times as much money into agricultural subsidies as they are doing into green technology. The green technology is not yet serious. In fact, it's the corporate sector that are more serious than the government is present. Mm-hmm. So why don't we swap the money from the agricultural subsidies into the green technology? You know? And when we discuss the car industry, we are not serious. I remember, I mean, the Second World War, the United States were serious. You know? They decided to win. And that regime in Germany decided to win. And they put the entire industry into winning that war. If we did the same with energy, we would solve it. But we are not serious yet. We're just trying to win the next election. We're not trying to solve the problem. And these long-term trends, whereas in India and China, they won't sit on a mud floor without electricity, while we are not serious in the richest countries, you know. So if we get serious, it's possible to solve this. But the problem I worry least about is population. So if you focus on population issue, I mean, you are like lost. You are 25 years behind reality. Instead of focusing on getting the 350 billion US dollar that goes into agricultural subsidies to go into green technology. The green technology is today about 100 billion US dollar. It's mainly corporate money. So government money is like 5 to 10 times bigger to agricultural subsidy to own a grandfather's farm instead of solving grandchildren's climate and future. So what, and the Indian scholars and the Chinese scholars I meet, and the politicians, the media persons, the academicians I meet, they are serious. They know how to count. They calculate for 25 to 50 years because they know where they want to move their countries, their companies, their societies. Whereas in West Europe and North America, the vision is 4 years for the next election or a quarter economy.